Welcome to the InterViews podcast.
Il cross, prima intenzione, Bobo anticipato, palla vagante, mette giù, recova, il tiro, e gol, 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 e gol,
Welcome, Interisti, to episode 172 of the InterViews podcast, the official podcast of SempreInter.com. We are here for the post-match reaction of the Derby della Madonnina, which finished 1-0 to the visitors, Milan. A goal from Christian Pulisic in the 54th minute, and that's all she wrote. As always, I'm one half of your co-hosting duo, Alessandro Raffa, joined here by Johnny Paterno. We are recording in the immediate aftermath of this game. So if I sound, deluded with this result, I haven't had the time to really, process what's going on here. Inter loses yet another head-to-head big match, which has been the case for about a year now. I cannot find a way to win these games. This game ended up in a way that I think a lot of Interisti could have predicted it would go, which is Inter being dominant on the ball, creating some chances, some not so great, some good ones, not being able to put it away, and Milan scoring with their essentially only really good opportunity of the match. Johnny, are you surprised at all with how this played out?
No, not surprised at all. I even tweeted out during when Hakan stepped up to take a penalty, I felt like he was going to miss. It did not feel good. And of course, they were talking about him going to his left, the keeper's right, and I was like, well, look at Manyan. I knew it. I was like, look at Manyan playing the mind game right now. I was like, brilliant. Honestly, I can't really hate on it as much as I want to. It felt like it was going to be one of those games. As soon as Acerbi hit the post, Lautaro has the ball pushed onto the post, you just felt like, all right, it's going to be another one of those games where we just dominate and we don't get anything out of it. And it's becoming more and more frustrating, especially when, look, I was saying this in a private chat, but I'll say it here too. I think we as Interisti, and I'm including myself in this, are a little delusional at how good this team actually is. I think we have a hard time recognizing the clear weaknesses, and I think we have a hard time admitting when we are just not as good as we want to think we are. We may not like our rivals. We may not agree with some of them. And obviously, I don't like any of our rivals, really. But if we can't beat them, we're not as good as we think we are. Doesn't matter how many finals we make or whatever. Unless you're winning the trophies at the end of the year, it doesn't matter. And you have to win games like this in order to be holding the trophy at the end of the season. You just have to. Especially against the team that you share a stadium with, who did nothing. Did nothing all game. They had literally one opportunity on goal that the fact that Salamakers even took a shot from there that gave Sommer such a hard time, it's infuriating to me. And the way he played, like he was just, I know it was one goal and one shot really, but it's his fault in my opinion. It's his fault. And once again, in another big game that he plays in, he's a big reason as to why we lose.
Yeah, agree with a lot of what you said there, and I think for this podcast, the way that we should roll through this is like, what are the reasons for why we lost today's game? And then we'll go through the incidents. We'll talk about the individual players. We'll take your questions and get out of here. So, biggest reason for why today ended in a 1-0 loss.
Oof, that's tough. To me, are we going to give a few? Can we give a few different reasons?
100%. Yeah. Well, start with whatever you want to go.
For me, the biggest reason is once again our captain not showing up in one of these matches. I feel like he didn't really do anything, minus the one shot that he had on target that Manyan made a fantastic save on. it's frustrating. It really is. Like, I love Lautaro. I'm not a Lautaro hater. And I used to defend him when he would, get the Salernitana man or the Cagliari man, whatever nickname you wanted to give him. I used to defend him tirelessly. But this game, it's like, bro, we need you to do something. Thuram is not at his best. He's not fully gotten that rust off, and yet you brought nothing. Like, Thuram did more for us, and not even looking good. Really, he did more. It's just, to me, it's like, whether it's the Napoli game where, listen, I loved that he was fighting back at Conte, but like, you did nothing that game as well. You could have shut him up with your gameplay. You did nothing. I know the Juve game was chaotic. I can't really remember his performance in that game, whether it was good or bad. And now this one, just flat. And I think that it's a telling sign that he was the first substitution, or one of the first two substitutions, because of the lack of efficiency that we were getting from him on the pitch. Poor touching, poor passing, complaining when the ball's not played to a certain spot. Like, brother, you need to make the most of the opportunities that you're given, the most of the chances that you're being given. And instead, you just complain, and you try to get in the ref's face because you don't like a certain call. It's like, I don't need that. Like, we got Barella for that. Like, we can talk about him later, but like, there's no. To me, you have to lead by example. You're the captain, and I think the way he goes is the way the team is also able to go at times. And again, just nothing from him.
Yeah, I think Lautaro is a really good example for what my reason is for why this keeps happening, which is Lauti gets one great chance in the first half. It doesn't go his way. I mean, from a technical football perspective, I don't know that there's much more that can be done there. Like, he's got to make a quick decision. He strikes the ball well. Like, honestly, good technique. Maybe you can say, a little bit more power on it, but nonetheless, it's like, gets this big opportunity. Magnan does make a great save. Unlucky, it hits the outside of the post and goes away, whatever it is. But then that chance doesn't go your way, and then you disappear, which is a really good anecdote or, example for what ultimately happens to this team in all of these games, which is those chances don't go your way, and then you're shot. You're completely and totally shot. And, I'm trying to not be too reactionary. Did Inter create chances? 100%. Were they super high quality? Not a ton. But the reality is, you hit the post twice. You get a penalty, and we'll talk about specific incidents too. But you don't make the most of those chances, and then you're done. Like, you've got your cattiveria, your grinta, your will to win the game kind of goes away. And all that other team needs to do really is survive you for a little bit, and then we will give them their chance to get into the game.
We'll give it to you.
You will have it. And the way that it happened, a giveaway in the middle of the pitch, straight down the pitch, some player makes an individual error, maybe two players make an individual error, and you can put it in the back of the net, and then we'll be shot. And we don't have, certain personnel to play a certain style to get you back into the game. And that is just how things have been going for Inter in these matches for a long time now. And I think the questions for me, I put them on the players. Johnny, if you've, I know you've read the comments on our episodes. The people who are against Kivu will come out of the woodworks here and try to put this on Kivu. So before I give my take here, this is one of the reasons that people are going to point to why Inter lost this game. For you, where does Kivu stand as a part of the blame for what occurred today?
He gets zero blame for me. Zero. I'm sorry. Like I if you watch this game and you want to blame Kivu, what are you gonna blame him for? Truly, is it his fault that Sommer spilled the ball easily for Pulisic? Is it his fault Hakan misses a penalty? That's Kivu's fault, right? Okay. Like, what do you want me to do? He started the right lineup, in my opinion. I don't think that you would have started a different lineup. All right, maybe you could say Boni over Thuram, maybe, and I would be okay.
Or you could say Acerbi Bisek, which part of like, if we want to have a discussion around Kivu, I think everybody was on the side of starting Bisek for this game. He started Acerbi, and it worked out. Acerbi, this wasn't a fantastic performance from Acerbi, but it proved to be the right one.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I don't think that there was anything wrong with starting Acerbi. Bisek, from a pace standpoint, sure, that makes sense. I'm not going to disagree with Interisti who say that should have been the right. And I probably would have said Bisek as well. But like you said, he made the right call. I'm not going to blame, I thought the midfield played good. Well, Sucic did not look so good in the first half. Hakan and Barella Barella was the best player in the match. I don't care what anyone says. He was the best player all game. And it's a shame that, of course, and then next week he'll have a game where he's like kind of average but still has an impact, and people will be like, oh, see, Barella's a problem. But anyway, I'll digress. The midfield I thought did really well for the most part. Sucic came alive in the second half, really. I wasn't crazy about Augusto on the right, but I understand why he was started. Like, I didn't love it, but like, really, what other option do you have? Luis Henrique's done nothing, and are you really going to start him in this game? Of course not.
Again, can you put that on Kivu if he doesn't have the?
He has to play what he has exactly. I thought everything he did was right. I thought the substitutions were done at the right time. The right players were brought on. I think the only one I had a head scratcher for was Andy Diouf, and again, I was proven wrong. Like, do I think it was the best game ever from Andy Diouf? I'm not going to sit here and say, whatever, but he played good. I will say he played pretty good.
The Andy Diouf question, what you have to ask yourself, what Interisti should ask themselves are, would Fratesi look 50% as dangerous as Diouf looked today? Because he was the other option. Fratesi was the one off the bench.
Yeah.
Would he look half as dangerous as Diouf did?
And let's be honest, no, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have tried to take on his man. He wouldn't have tried to cross the ball, and he wouldn't have taken a shot from range. Now, you want to sit and nitpick and say, was that the right decision? I don't think he should have taken that shot. I think he had options to play it in to the 18 there. He didn't. Whatever. Not the end of the world to me. Like, I'm not going to sit here and poke fun at him. This was his best appearance so far. I think he's only had 3, so it's not saying much, but I thought he did everything that he could do to try to get this game back in. It's not his fault that these individual errors cost us the game. If Sommer makes that save and Hakan makes the penalty, are we saying that masterclass from Kivu? No, we're not. We're not. But when the game doesn't go our way, it's Kivu's fault. We're gonna point fingers at him. I think that's insane. If you want to find things to blame, he's bottom 15. You know what I mean? Like, he's near the absolute bottom you could possibly come across, because I just don't think that any of this was his fault.
Yeah, I agree. I thought, the decisions that he made coming into the game, they proved to be correct. And then, again, like I said, my biggest reason is on these individuals and their mentality in these games. There were errors defensively, and there were errors offensively. At the end of the game, like, Akanji mistiming a glorious chance. Like, how does that happen? You're, apparently one of the best center backs in world football for the last, however many years. I don't think
finishing is really a big part of his game.
Right, but just the moment of, like, how big that moment is. Like,
sure.
Just do the job.
But again, like, if he does get a clean strike on it, Magnan was already cheating near post. I don't know. I mean, I know the jokes are near post Magnan, right? Well, obviously it wasn't a problem today. Like, I thought he played. This was the best game I've seen him play against Inter, for that matter.
Yep.
And it's just
Fought Mob's man of the match with a 9.3, almost a perfect score.
I mean, yeah, I don't think I would have given it to anybody else. If I'm being quite honest, he won in the game. He single-handedly won in the game. 2 huge saves that could have been goals. They could have lost the game just as easy as they won it. So
2.32 goals prevented, according to those metrics.
2.32.
Yep.
Dang, that's crazy. So really, essentially 3 goals he saved. Essentially.
Yep.
Like, you can't. Nobody. There's no point really. Like, so realistically, you would just round up in that regard. But yeah, it's not something where I'm going to sit here. Like, I'm trying to hold my rage. If we did this as a live stream, like where we did a watch along, I think people would have like turned me off because of the way I was yelling at the TV for certain things and individual plays and snapping and punching my couch over here, which is like the last thing I have in my apartment before I move back to Charlotte. It's not it wasn't a pretty sight by any means, and I don't know how to feel other than I'm kind of sick of it, and I'm not blaming you. I'm just these players need to like wake up and recognize that
I'm sick of the attitude of these players for sure.
Yeah.
The senators in the team, the old guard in the team. I'm really sick of their attitude.
And look, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, and you could say it is recency bias, but I really did think that we needed a refresh, not a revolution, a refresh. And I think that I don't know who you want to point at certain players. It's really like Bastoni, Barella, and Lautaro. You could look at it as the 3 pillars or the 3, longest standing players. I don't know if you would start with any of those, but maybe other guys who've been on the squad, maybe you think about what to do, and who knows, maybe you would have brought up some other players in. I don't know. And maybe it's just me being angry that I'm also feeling this way, but I just, the attitude and the lack of like a want. You have to want to win. I don't think that, skill alone can win you matches. I think luck can play a factor, and yes, skill can as well. But I think there has to be a desire. It's like you're the home team. This is the San Siro. This is the derby. Do you get up for this? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, like, a ton of bad luck today. I think, you can put some of these actions on, but, if it was coupled with this hunger that was, like, almost a foaming at the mouth for players that are in a derby, and it should be like that, I didn't see that. I saw a dominant team, like on the ball dominant, were creating chances, but I didn't see this like intense fire that I was hoping for. Bastoni skied a chance that he could have done better with. Boni at the end, definitely could have done better with. Juve had a shot right down the middle. Could have made a different decision. We talked about the Akanji one. I mean, there were just a bunch of like, do better. Like, do a little bit better with that. So anyway, I think we're in agreement that this squad has a mental problem, especially in these big matches. So you said something earlier in the podcast. In order to win titles, in order to be a contender for important things, you need to get results in these matches. Inter have not gotten results in these matches, so I know I'm asking you this immediately in the aftermath of a derby loss, but do you think this team is going to win a title this year?
A title?
A title. One of the 3 on deck. We're going to leave the Supercopa out.
I don't know. It's tough. I don't think we're going to win the Champions League. I think that we don't show up in those big games. We would need to play somebody
real quick before you go on to the next one. I have more I don't know if you feel like this. I have more confidence in a head-to-head against one of the European bigs than I do in a head-to-head against one of the Serie A bigs.
Who are we considering the European bigs though?
Let's just
Like you're saying,
this upcoming match against Atletico or this upcoming match against Liverpool. Like,
you got two teams that I think are down this year, right there. So yeah, I don't think that's a problem. Honestly, like with the way Arsenal's playing, I'd be more interested to see how we do against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like if we, yes, I would feel more confident going up against Arsenal though than I would feel if you tell me we're playing Juve in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Like I don't think that we show up for those games. It doesn't make sense. We'll play out of our mind against a Barcelona, but you throw Juve against us with Igor Tudor as the manager, and we fall apart.
Do you think it has anything to do with the heartbreaking giveaways of Scudetti in the last 4 years, where there's a Serie A, like something is wrong with this team in Serie A?
I mean, it could be. It very well could be, but I think like regardless, I don't want to consider Napoli a rival. I think that's a rivalry that their fan base has made up and wants to make something meaningful. To me, it's not. You haven't even won 5 Scudetti. I'm not going to take you seriously. But for Milan and Juve, when you play those teams, you should want to not only beat them on the pitch, but inflict levels of pain that they remember, like, oh man, I don't want to go up for a challenge against Akanji again. Like, that's not fun. Oh man, 50-50 ball. Do I slide in? Barella's a little crazy today. I don't want to, like, there should be a level of fear and respect of your opponent. And nobody fears us in Serie A. And I mean that. Nobody. Look at the way, Udinese plays us. Look at the way, other clubs who are considered bottom or mid-tier clubs in Serie A. Nobody is afraid to play Inter. They know that at any given day, they could steal points. They could. I'm not saying that we're going to lose.
They know that they just have to survive for long enough, and we will give them the chance to hurt us. We will give them the opportunity.
And I think until we... Look, I said in the beginning of the year, I wanted to punt the UCL. We're doing the exact opposite right now. We're undefeated. I think we've only given up 1 goal so far. Like, fine, cool. The Scudetto to me was always the objective. And we haven't seemed to be taking that seriously. Taking that as like, this is a trophy that we need to win. We need to like stamp this group as champions. And I don't know what it's gonna take. I don't think you have to do a retiro or something to lock the team up, and it's not that drastic or tragic or going on right now. But we need to have some type of moment that galvanizes the team and that makes them think we should be the champions. Like I don't think the Scudetto race is over by any means. Like, we're not out of it. But we're not making, like, we could have easily had a 6-7 point lead right now had we just done our jobs. Like, up 3-2 against Juve, we blow it. 0-0, we have a chance to equalize, and I guarantee, actually, you know what, I shouldn't say I guarantee. But had we scored that penalty, Milan would have been up against the ropes, and anything could have happened. Yeah, like, we absolutely could have won that game. So it's like, do you want this? Do you? Like, do you care about wearing these colors? I don't know. I don't know if any one of them truly do. I'm sure they do. I shouldn't say that. But like, it's like, man, like,
do you care about like what you said, like getting back to a place of you being really feared? And the reality is, those, we've lost 4. Those fixtures, at least the big ones, Napoli, Juventus, and Milan, will all be at the San Siro in the second half of the season. And, you say the title race is not over. I agree that the title race is not over, because you take the whole season for what it is. But you need to get the results on the back end at home against these big teams.
all 3 of them. all three. You need to win all three. You can't draw one and win two. No. You now at this point you have to win all three. If you want to take that monkey off your back, that's the only way you're going to do it. And now it's added pressure for no reason. Like honestly, if we won this game, we're not worried as much. Everybody's feeling better. Okay, Kivu could win the games against the bigger opponents. Inter can seem to, roll with the punches and take whatever cliche you want to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's now it's a must win for 3 games.
This is not an excuse, but I am curious to get your thoughts on it. Napoli, Juve, and Milan, each of those games took place after an international break. Kivu
Really?
talked about how he didn't give... Yep, all 3 of them. Kivu talked about how he doesn't believe in doing the retiro because you have guys coming home from international break. You have these small pockets of time during the season where you can let them go be with their families. And he said, I don't need them thinking about this game all week. So 2 things. One, how much of a factor do you think playing a big game coming out of an international break plays, into the situation? And do you think Kivu's mentality around doing a retiro before the big game, do you think he's right to take the stance that he has?
I think it's the right way to go about it because I don't think you want to have players coming back now in a bad mood and like holding things against you or remembering whatever situations by keeping them away from their families when they return. So yeah, I think that's the right way to go about it. However, I did not notice that. Honestly, I had not paid attention to that. And I would say that look, I don't want to make it as an excuse, but yes, I would say that does play a factor in it when you don't have a full week of training leading up to a matchup like that. Like now let's see how we do against these EPL teams when we have we're able to stay together as a group, training with one another, having that camaraderie and that consistency of working with and seeing your teammates day in and day out. So I'd be interested to see how those 3 matchups go in the second half, if like any of them fall within Italy's having to qualify for the World Cup, because that would be one. It's another incident like in March, so I guess we'd have to see who plays after that game, because of course it probably will be a Juve or Milan that comes up after that, and then we have to deal with that nightmare.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think it's ideal to go from an international break into these big games, but again, I'm not going to make excuses.
No.
I'm not going to make excuses. I don't think you are, but I don't think that. I think that they have shown in all of those matches immediately after the international break that they had opportunities to win those games. So like they just didn't. They just did not do it. All right. Let's talk about the specific incidents here. Let's start with first the goal scored against Inter. A giveaway by Hakan in the middle of the park. I don't think that we were super great in the 50-50s today. I think we gave away some silly balls, so did Milan, but I don't think that we were particularly, again, like we said earlier, hair on fire, foaming at the mouth. The ball finds its way to Salamakers. Salamakers puts it in a tough spot for Sommer. In a tough spot because it is right in a range where you would force him to spill into the oncoming Pulisic. My problem with Sommer on this play is that the ball was not hit with anywhere close to enough force where you wouldn't be able to palm it right in front of you. I understand that a goalkeeper may be trained to always push out. But in that situation, it's very clear Sommer should have the wherewithal to know that Pulisic is right there. That if you are going to palm away, you are going to palm it right into him. I don't think the Salamaker shot had enough venom to not be able to, I'm not saying stop the ball, but to play it right in front of you. Still into danger, but there wasn't anyone in the immediate vicinity where he wouldn't be able to recover. That's my issue with Sommer there. People talking about Akanji also, he tracked Pulisic. He had to, take care of what was around him and keep an eye on the middle. I don't necessarily kill him as much as I think Sommer is at fault for this.
And I think that he probably had the same mindset that you had, where he wouldn't palm it right there. I also think that had he positioned himself more centrally and not been so near post on that opportunity, he doesn't have to do such an exaggerated dive to get one hand onto it and put it in such a dangerous area. I think if he's central, he's actually probably able to run over and field that ball cleanly because it was hit so weakly. That to me, I don't blame Akanji at all. Like, you want to blame him and you want to say he didn't track back fast enough or he slowed down and allowed Pulisic to get away. I think any other center back would have not thought that their goalie would have put them in a situation like that, personally. And to me, the blame falls solely on Jan Sommer.
And also, you're talking about, his positioning should have been a little bit more centrally. You're 110% right, because DiMarco was taking away the outside shot. He was playing Salamakers to go inside. Like, shoot it towards the goalkeeper centrally. We've got a Sommer problem. We've got a goalkeeper problem, because Jose Martinez obviously went through something very traumatic. There's still an ongoing investigation. So it couldn't be more clear to me that on the basis of play, you have to be playing Jose Martinez. We have to drop the, veteran preference that we have, but I don't know what kind of headspace the guy's in. So I couldn't say for sure. But Inter has a goalkeeper problem, without question.
Yeah, I would agree.
So another individual error leading to a goal. Let's talk about the penalty. I don't like giving this. People may disagree with me, and I'm happy to have the conversation. But I don't like giving a penalty like this one. It was a foul on Thuram, but the reason why I'm not into it is because the ball had already been played across. Thuram was no longer involved in the play, and he stepped on his foot. That is, I don't know if you can give a yellow card for dangerous play without giving the penalty. That is how I would have played that. But I do not like, if that penalty went against Inter, I would not like that, and have to not be a fraud here and call it out. I don't think Inter should have been given that penalty.
It's funny you say that, because I thought the same thing in real time. Obviously, as a fan, I was happy that we got the call, because it gave us a chance to get back into the game. But I also thought he's going to miss this because it shouldn't have been a penalty to begin with. Yep. And I thought, if you want to say the footballing gods, we're not going to allow it to happen kind of thing. That's kind of how I felt. But yeah, I had something like that happen to me in high school, where I got called for a pen after a player took a shot where his plant or his follow through I stepped on, and they called a penalty on me after. I was like, he got the shot away. Like, what the hell? How's it a penalty if he got the shot away? Same thing. Like, Thuram got the cross away. If he makes the foul before he's able to hit the cross, penalty, in my opinion. But because it was during the aftermath, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been stomped on as well, and my foot was bruised and disgusting after the fact. But so I know he was in pain. I know that definitely hurt. Like, it's not fun to have the top of your foot stepped on. I actually still have a bit of a bruise and swelling on the top of my foot from it. And this was like a month ago now. So I don't think he was exaggerating the pain and staying on the floor. Like, I don't think he was like looking for the penalty. I think that hurts. Yeah. Without question. So I agree. I think it should have just been a yellow and like a goal kick from that situation. But yeah, if that got called against Inter, I probably would have been livid. I would have been blowing up Twitter and saying all kinds of things. And so, yeah, like you said, I'm not going to be a homer and be have a double standard. I think that's not I don't want to put out content that's disingenuous either, and just trying to push only an Inter first agenda. Like, I think you need to have the right calls in these matches, and I'm sure there's going to be some of you who disagree with us completely, and that's fine. Like, everyone's entitled to their opinions. Like, I'm not saying I'm right and this is what, but like, I think you need to look at it objectively. Had it been the other way around and we were up 1-0 and they called Acerbi because he was too slow to get there on a penalty like that, you would have been pissed off.
Yeah,
you would have been 100% pissed if Salamakers crossed it and it went over everybody's head and he's on the ground. Like, you would have been so pissed. Let's be honest.
It's like it's the Rigorini thing where it's like we have to raise the standard for what requires a kick from the spot. Terrible penalty by Hakan. Let's talk about this for a second. Terrible penalty by Hakan.
Terrible.
It is, the scouting report does say he's going to go there. So
Yep.
Magnan places himself in a way where it's daring him to do it. Now, if you're Hakan, it is not smart to go to the side that Magnan is slightly more covering. Like, you have to go either center or, to Hakan's left. My big issue is the pace of the strike. Fine, you're forcing me to put it to this side. I'm going to put it to this side. But my only option is to rifle it into the back of the net. Whether it's right down the middle, like you may still, it still may be close to you, but at least right down the middle, I'm just going to punch it into the roof. Or the same thing with, down Hakan's left, which the scouting report says go down. Hakan, I've seen you've been scoring Puskás stuff all year. Put it into the top corner. Strike it with everything that you have. That was really poor from Hakan. Really poor.
Yeah, no, I listen. I'm going to disagree with you on only that I would have gone to the side that he was covering more. Because I would have thought, me personally, he thinks I don't have the balls to do this. And if I had Hakan's skills, I'm a bit of an asshole. Like, I would have just tried to bury it in that top corner. And it's like, if he's going to make a save, it's going to have to be a save on the hardest shot he's ever faced in his life. And I'm going to try to rifle it through literally the top corner, which he's done before. He's done it. And I remember against, I think it was Atletico where he did it. And it was like such a perfectly taken penalty in that shootout that nobody in their right, he could, Oblak could have been standing there, hands up, and it still would have gone in. So I would have done the thing where it's like, you're going to try to think I'm not going to take this way. Like, you're going to leave that whole side open and you're going to be able to cheat over. Because he did start cheating over there once he started the run-up. So it's like, he knows you're going to do it. Do what he doesn't think you're going to do. Like, that's how I would have looked at it completely. Or, like you said, go straight down the middle, full power, fine. I would have been fine with that too. And if he saved that one, we would have probably said, oh, what an idiot. But, like, I think I would say maybe 80% of Interisti thought he was going to try to go for the space. And I think we all thought he's going to make this. Like, the 80% that thought he was going to go to that section, I would say maybe half of us thought that he was going to make that save. Because he was playing the mind games with Hakan. And when Hakan plays against Milan, no pun intended, he sees red. He sees red and he wants to do, whatever. He was probably already celebrating in his head how he was going to, run to the curva or do something to upset the curva. You fell for the trap, man. He baited it and you bit it hook, line, and sinker, man. And like, it's kind of frustrating that a professional can't play his own chess games, with Milan. And listen, as much as I make fun of Magnan for the near post stuff and not showing, well, he showed up today, and I have to give him credit that he played the game and he won, and he was phenomenal today. Like,
He was.
Hats off to him and for the performance he put in, because I was expecting him to have an error or two, honestly, today, and he made no mistakes. and saving a penalty in a game of this magnitude and to do it in that way. Like, think about that, right? You're up 1-0 and you're cheating to your left to play a mind game with the penalty taker to dare him to shoot in the open space, and you make this. That is a set of balls, man. And I'm not trying to like blow Milan here and like make them seem like they're this good. I hate them, and I hate Allegri.
Their big players showed up, or
Yep.
Their big player Manyan, he showed up, and
Yep.
The other frustrating, you talk about, you're a professional, like, play the game. I don't think that there's anything new about the idea around how to score penalties. Put it within 6 inches of either post with pace, and there is a huge chance you're going to score. Huge chance.
Like, you and I haven't played professionally, and we've both been told the same thing when it comes to taking penalties. Like, anybody from the age of 6 and up has probably been told the same exact thing. Like you said, put it within 6 inches, and you hit it as hard as you want. I had coaches say, like, don't even worry if you're staring at it. Know where you want to put it.
Yep.
If you hit it as hard as you can into that corner, and you just aim for that, no goalkeeper is going to save that. And it's so true. Like, I think that if he's done it, and that's the other frustrating thing, he's done it against weaker goalkeepers, where, like, he'll just pick that corner and hit it as hard. And when Hakan strikes clean, I don't think there's a player in Serie A who strikes the ball harder than Hakan does. And why didn't you do that? Why didn't you just pick, like, if he's daring you to put it in that corner, put it all the way in the corner, man.
Yeah.
But sorry.
No. Completely agree. One other incident I want to talk about, just very quickly. Lautaro Gabbia coming together in the first half. Gabbia commits the foul because his foot is dangerous play. The elbow that hits Gabbia, there was nothing unnatural about the Lautaro challenge, the jumping up into the air. You do that. You also do it with the expectation that your opponent is jumping in a manner where everyone is protected and everyone's okay. Gabbia put himself in danger. He put both Lautaro and himself in danger with the way that he went into that challenge. For me, that's never a red card.
No.
Any thoughts on that?
No, I agree 110% with you. Like, never a red card, in my opinion. I don't think that was an unnatural swing of the arm. There was no violence or intent in the elbow that he threw at Gabbia. I mean, unfortunate that he got a little bloodied, but I don't know. What do you want to do? Like, you want to just give red cards for any incident or anything that touches the head? Then I guess, like, Akanji should have gotten a red card. Who else? There was another one where actually I think Gabbia committed a foul too on maybe Thuram. Like, I don't know. It's just stupid. It's just stupid the way some of these guys react and talk, and just stop. Just stop.
All right, let's go through these players. We'll go one by one, and we'll give challenge each other to keep it within one sentence about each player. So let's start with Sommer. I'll give the sentence on this one. It's over. It's over. Let's not continue to do this. Bastoni, Gianni.
Bastoni. Were you here today? I don't think it was a bad game. Let me just say, I don't think it was a bad game, but like, I didn't notice him. So
yeah. Acerbi, did your job.
Yep.
Akanji,
strongest defender.
Augusto, limited, but not really his fault. Barella.
Man of the match. If you want to look at like who the best player was for Inter today, I think he was the man of the match without a question.
Çalhanoğlu, you have to be better. You have to take your chance. Sucic.
Grew into the game well.
DiMarco, your teammates could have done more for you on some of those deliveries. Thuram.
Slowly shaking off the rust.
Yep, agree. Lautaro, got to get him a missing poster. Put him on a carton of milk.
Put him on the milk carton. That's it.
It's bad. Ange Boni.
Should have started.
Zielinski. Should have started.
Over who?
Nah, maybe that's not a good one. I'll put not enough time. Not enough time.
Okay, all right, I like that.
Andy Juf.
Surprising performance. I'll go with that.
Francesco Pio Esposito. Not enough time.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's get into your question.
You want to start with the speak pipe? There's a speak pipe. Yeah, I just saw.
Let me see because I haven't been seeing it.
Speaks pipes. Look at me. I'm talking like a
Speaks pipes.
Speaks pipes.
All right.
We sprechen die pipes.
InterViews podcast. SC Chad here. And yes, so many things to talk about. I mean, first, Sommer parrying the ball back out. Like, that was terrible. I mean, we need to put Martinez in immediately for any big game matches. And secondly, like, Acerbi, like, I know he's experienced, but again, it's starting that aging option in the back line. I would have liked Bisek there. And after that, I mean, we again had the same familiar pattern. We dominate, but we can't put our chances away. And Milan get one little chance and score. And so I'm thinking, like, honestly, I'm with Alessandro that we need to get someone like Lukman. Someone who, with his creativity, can just win us games. We don't have that. Like, maybe Adeyemi is an option. Yeah, and then I think Juve actually didn't look bad. Of course, we're relying on him to win the game. That was pathetic, but at least he can play in Fratese's minutes. And it's just, I think we need another center back for January. And at this point, like, I'm not too excited for other derbies because it's the same story over and over again. We just can't break it. It's not a Chivu thing. It's a player's thing. And we really need to have, like, enough.
Oh, cut him off. I don't think that Acerbi over Bisek had any impact on the game, to be honest. I just don't think that it was a factor.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Johnny's also a fan of Lookman. We'll throw that out there as well.
I'm a fan of Lookman, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen now that
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think it would have been better for us if Juric had stayed manager. I think he could have forced the move maybe in January, but now that Palladino's there, I don't think that's going to. I mean, who knows? Maybe if the player brings it up in January, we haven't heard anything yet. But anyway,
he just added all the Atalanta stuff back to his Instagram, so I don't know.
That doesn't look good for us.
It's not going to be a factor.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be realistic. Let me just say right now, Adeyemi, no thank you. Not a fan. I'm not an Adeyemi fan at all. So
I like stuff that he's done as a player, but I also have seen a lot of like kind of off the field attitude kind of issues. So I'm unsure about that one. Would I say no to it for free? Do I think he can do something? Yeah, but I don't think that's a realistic thing. All right. At Mike Gorietti, I'd like to see Barella offer more overlap to Carlos if he's going to play right wing back. All crosses were coming in from the left. That was after the first half. I thought Barella was delivering some good service from the right-hand side. Yes, that Andre, another big game error from Sommer. He still has quality, but is it time to phase out? A quick change or slowly move to Martinez? I would do it quickly, but I don't know how Kivu's going to play this because Kivu has already played his. We're not going to drop Sommer after one bad game or one thing he already played that card earlier in the season. And now it's like demonstrably a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. Inter's given up like the least XG in the league, and we've had 1 million goals scored against us. So I think this is a big test for Kivu, what he decides to do here.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how he decides to play it out. I don't think that we can wait. We can't do the gradual change like we did with Onana. I think this has to be a more of a, hey, like, you're not a backup, unfortunately. Like, have that conversation.
Yeah. Peter Jordan, very depressing. Usual script: dominate, don't take chances, and then sucker punch goal after a couple errors by Hakan and Sommer. Just have to score that pen, have to. I actually don't think Andy Juf was that bad, but I would have taken Sucic off and not Barella. I think we're going to be seeing more of Juf. I have a feeling he's going to. We're going to start seeing more of him towards the end of games, or possibly even starting against the small teams.
Yeah, I think that's a good sign that he played well, and I think it's a bad sign for Fratesi. I think his time may be coming to an end here, which for me is good news. I don't have to see him.
Lee Theobald, why Inter won't win the Scudetto this season? Kivu already lost 3 games already against their rivals. Again, tell me what on the pitch the players did that was Kivu's fault and not their fault. The mistakes that were made, tell me, you have to expect that your players are not going to make mistakes, but just tell me what you think Kivu could have been done better, or what he's not doing correct in these moments. M6 Zeki, I haven't had the chance to watch the pod for a few weeks, but is Martinez not mentally ready to start, or is Kivu being stubborn? If Martinez is fine to start and he's still playing Sommer, I blame Kivu. He was involved in an accident where someone lost their life, so I don't know. I cannot comment on the mental side. I have no idea.
And that could be, you and I are sitting here debating this. That could very well be wow. I sounded like I was having a stroke. That could very well be why Kivu hasn't gone to Martinez. Maybe he doesn't think that he's mentally ready to be our starting goalkeeper because of what he is dealing with off the pitch.
Frank Sinopoli, brutal. Lautaro looked cooked empanadas today. No rhythm with Thuram. This high line with Acerbi is idiotic. Chala misses a pen. How? Stop shooting left or bury it. I'm sorry, but Kivu has to wear this one. 3 bigs, 3 losses. I'm pissed, boys.
Man, I don't
know. Because you're talking.
Is he telling Hakan, hey, shoot bottom left? Like, I don't know how you blame him. And what did the high line do? Like, the high line wasn't the fault on the goal. There was times where Acerbi was out of position, where he went too far forward, in my opinion, and then it left Akanji and Bastoni alone when they were hitting on the counter. But again, like, the high line is supposed to be a line. It doesn't give your center back autonomy to just go wherever he wants, however he wants. He's not Bastoni. He doesn't have that level of freedom from his position. So I don't know. Maybe, listen, if I'm wrong, people, please, like, explain to me how this is on Kivu. Like, I'll have a genuine conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I would be curious why you think this is solely on Kivu.
Yeah, I don't know that it's right to really complain about stuff that wasn't a factor in us losing the game. If you think the high line is idiotic, with the players that we have, then that's one thing. As far as, like, does Kivu have to wear this? There's definitely, I'm not the kind of person where you can't take any like, if you're the manager of the team, you are taking responsibility. You have to take responsibility. I just think there's a difference between when you're analyzing a game, a match, and, like, if you lose that match, oh, it's the coach's fault. In a lot of cases, or in some cases, it is. I don't know what Kivu could have done differently or better. Are there things that he could have done differently? Maybe. Maybe a change in formation could have done it. Maybe you could have gone, 2 across the midfield and had Zielinski and Bonni behind Thuram. Maybe you could have tried something like that. So, the coach is always going to bear a measure of responsibility. I just, I don't know. It feels very clear to me that the players need to own most of these. Juve, Sommer needs to own that. Napoli, a lot of players need to own that. Today, Haka needs to own it. Sommer needs to own it. So we'll see. And some of our big guys just not showing up. Avid Inter fan, address the goalkeeper thing we have. Secondly, please address the Auxilio situation. He's been ruining our transfers for years and years, and no one seems to talk about because he's being protected by his media friends. Interesting, because you do have a lot of stuff from Auxilio that is pretty shady. And when I say shady, I don't mean like illegal. I mean he likes dealing with his friends. Could there have been, better uses of the money? 100%. Has he had some wins? Yes. Do I think that there is a better option at sporting director moving forward? I think there's probably there's someone that can do Auxilio's job better.
Without a question.
Yeah. So should
There's
we move on from him? We'll see.
Yeah, I'd be fine moving on from him.
All right, that's all your questions. I need to not think about this game for a minute.
You know what's funny is I was excited knowing today we were going to record, and if I had known that this was going to be the outcome, like if someone said, "Oh, we're going to lose," guaranteed to lose one, I would have been like, "We might need to find a fill-in because I don't feel like talking about this."
Yeah. No, it is very difficult to discuss this, but we have Atletico coming up on Wednesday. Pisa,
On
Venezia,
Wednesday.
Como. Yep. Pisa, Venezia, Como in the league. Then Liverpool. Then Genoa, Bologna in the league. We've done this thing where we suffer the big loss and then we bounce back immediately and go on a run. I mean, you hope you gotta do that.
I don't want that to be the thing. Like the common theme. It's like, all right, cool. We got Juve next week. All right, we're gonna lose them and then we'll win 6 in a row. Like, cool. Right.
Yeah, it makes it super difficult to do this. We've recorded a ton of win pods, but we've recorded brutal
to teams that I don't want to lose. Like I would rather Atalanta smoke us like 8-0 and have to come on and talk than ever have to talk about a loss to Juve, Milan, or Napoli.
Yeah.
Especially when you see Napoli drop points to teams that are trash. Like, all right, anyway.
Atletico have rebounded really nicely after a tough start to the season. They're on fire, 5 straight victories. Their last big match was they did play Betis and Sevilla. Their last big match was Arsenal. They lost 4-0. But they beat Getafe, Levante, USG, Betis, Sevilla for 5 straight on the trot here. Going to be a tough game. Would love to get that win prior to the Liverpool, Arsenal. Who's the last team that we're playing? But Dortmund. Liverpool, Arsenal, Dortmund. If we can win this game, that's 5 out of 5, and that should get you real close to the top 8. Real close to solidifying that. So you want to win that.
I think you start Boni against Atletico.
I think he's going to start Luis Enrique too. I have a feeling Luis Enrique is going to start the Atletico match. Something in my gut tells me
if he starts that game, you're going to have to find somebody else to record that day. I'm going to have a Brazilianitis.
Juve surprised us today.
No, he did surprise us. But Enrique's had more opportunities and he's looked like cheeks every time.
Augusto, Di Marco, and Bastoni all got 90 minutes today. That's why I feel, and I don't know that Darmian is ready. So I feel like Luis Enrique is going to get the start in that game. I would start Bonni. I might even start Bonni Pio together, to be honest. But we'll see. Johnny, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I got to keep packing.
In the words of the great Roberto Scarpini, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi.